Yo, P, good morning, bro. What it do, what it do, what it do. I'm about to go get these onion rings. Uh, I just had a regular dinner, but my dinners are always good anyway. So yeah, I ain't do nothing extra special yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Shit, like I said, we eat good every day over here. I don't see why some people be so big on like it's Thanksgiving dinner, it's Christmas dinner. I'm gonna eat good. Like, you don't eat good like that every day. I eat like that every day. Yo, what's good, broski? I'm on Instagram too. Mm-mm.
How the fuck am I ignorant? How the fuck am I ignorant?
You being for real right now? Ignorant?
Ignorant? You can't even say the word.
Whoop that ass.
How the fuck am I
Too grown
ignorant?
to be still slow as hell.
How the fuck am I ignorant?
Ignorant.
How the fuck am I ignorant?
You being for real right now? Ignorant? Somebody need to whoop that ass for all that shit. Grown to be still slow as hell.
How the fuck am I ignorant?
Ignorant.
Get the
I've
boring
never.
toys and get them something they actually built.
Hi folks, John Madden here, and today we're cooking up a whole mess of turkey for Thanksgiving with items bought from Pleasant Mart, our wonderful sponsor. God, I fucked that up. John, what's the line? The line. What's the? All right, folks, we're talking turkey. I don't even want to be here. I've never even shopped at Pleasant Mart, Dave. How about you run sound and I'll do the fucking show? Look at me sideways again, Dave. You greasy. God, I keep getting.
Hell, breeze your scalp, look your girlfriend's back and she won't.
Let me see her.
God damn, you motherfucking bad me. You might make me cook it like that.
Mama.
Let me see her.
Hey, lost my fault.
What the fuck?
Everybody give these hands.
These memes are crazy.
Oh my God.
It's a fucking Alaska Airlines Q400. What the fuck is he doing over here?
Hey, I found myself in a bit of a predicament. I'm in the air right now and just kind of sort her out. 449, are you not supposed to be on that aircraft? Yeah. I did a kind of a bad thing, kind of a selfish thing. But it's all good. I'm gonna go check out right here. Yeah, 449. So you hijacked the plane, is what you're saying? Yeah, I'm afraid I did.
Just flying the plane around. Do you seem comfortable with that?
Oh, hell yeah, it's a blast, man. I played video games before, so I know what I'm doing a little bit.
I remember this
Now
story.
everything's peachy. Peachy clean. Just did a little circle around right here. It's beautiful. I think.
It's tougher now for young people just to
No,
survive than it was when you were 15?
no, I think life is so much simpler now. Nobody starves in our country. Nobody has to go out in the corners today. You can go and get medical aid. Nobody lives in the streets.
Some people live in the streets.
Here in this country,
Yes, ma'am.
well, they don't have to.
Well, tell them.
Are you telling me that
I'm not being facetious.
No, I know you're not. You're telling me that people have to sleep in the streets like they do in India?
Yes, ma'am. But they don't. Yes, ma'am. They sleep in the streets and they die here.
Well, they die anyway, even if you sleep in a bed. You just described a number of deaths.
No, I mean, like in India, you die from starvation and stuff.
Well, you don't die of starvation here.
Yes, ma'am.
You can always get some food. We have.
I know we have it, but we don't always give it.
I'm sorry to differ with you, but I don't think statistics would show that you're right. Nobody has to starve in this
No
country.
shit, bro.
There are.
If you get a gun, you don't have to starve. No.
Oh, no, but a gun. Come on, you know there.
Are you saying that the people who are below the poverty level, and there are a lot of people below the poverty level
Of
in this
course
country.
there are. The poverty level now, because of the cost of living, is almost $5,000.
You know, in
There are many
Appalachia,
people who live.
this is white people now, so I won't bring it to black people, so you won't not believe me. In Appalachian,
There's no difference in my mind between black and white, and get that.
You're crazy.
You cannot say.
So he's being frivolous now.
I'll tell you something. That's it. You go hiding behind the fact that I must have a prejudice. Well,
No,
damn it, I don't.
No, ma'am,
I don't have a single
I wasn't
prejudice.
hiding behind that. I was
I
trying
don't
to
have
tell
any
you, in
prejudice.
Appalachian, I was trying to make a common denominator for the masses. Like, if I use Appalachian rather than Watts,
Are they
they would
starving
understand
there?
that better.
Are they starving?
In Appalachian, yes, ma'am, sometimes the babies' bellies get swollen, they don't get enough food, and they get retarded. You understand what I'm saying? Like, because
I do, but I don't believe it.
No, ma'am, it's true. The children get retarded because they don't have enough food to make the enzymes work in their brain.
Having listened to you before, and some of the things you
Well, it's
said.
not just me. Walter Cronkite said.
This is television at its finest moment.
Yo, Richard Pryor was playing that shit.
No, I think he's very serious. I think he's very serious in what he says, and I think he has a point. There are people in this country who don't get enough to eat.
They may not get enough, but nobody really starts. I mean, I think this country, you asked me about the young.
Right.
That's why you're here, because you're starving.
Johnny Carson is back there, and be no yelling.
You let them yell?
Sure, it's an
Oh,
open,
I
open
see.
country, sure.
Well, then if they like you, what do they say?
These people are all cloned. Do you know that? We clone them in the other room, and then we bring them here
I
just for
thought
the
that one
show.
of your person is cloned. And I thought that was a great idea. I thought I'd step in after the fifth clone and take hold.
What were we talking about anyway? We were in the subject
Cloning.
when you were young.
When I was young,
Yeah.
when the earth was full of trees that bore fruit and the flowers bloomed, they were sweeter and there were love affairs to be had.
And lynchings.
You know, Richard Pryor had no chill.
I asked
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
Johnny,
Yes.
isn't it curious? You can talk about beautiful things, nobody applauds. You talk about lynching. I don't know whether that applause is because you approve of lynching or because you're happy that he said so. I can't figure it out, you know. Can you?
No, ma'am.
I think it was a play on the beautiful thing and the absurdity and the point that he was making. That in the early days, when things were, there were other things going on that were not so good. He was just trying a situation.
There are some beautiful things in life. If there weren't, why does everybody want to live? Why doesn't anyone want to die? Even your father.
Hey.
For now, for young people, just
No.
to survive than it was when you.
Just going through some memes this morning, real quick, like.
Hey, is everybody on track? Cause it's Friday. Ain't black. Cause we ain't buying shit. We ain't buying shit. Stand up and never quit. We ain't buying shit. From the 25th of November to the 5th of December. Remember, we ain't buying shit. We ain't buying shit. This Friday ain't black. Cause we got each other's back. We ain't buying shit. We ain't buying shit. We ain't buying. We ain't buying. We ain't buying shit. Hey. Hey.
You wanna know how I know Jesus black?
Woman would have spoke to you if you paid for her groceries. Instead of a hi, if you said hey, can I cover your groceries? I think you're a really beautiful woman and I.
Shut your fat ass. You damn near got $250,000 in food stamps in that fucking buggy. You think we Jay-Z? Nobody about to pay that fucking money for to come talk to your fat nutting ass. Nobody about to pay that much money for to feed you and them thick ass churn you got there. Fat ass churn you got. I don't even know your churn, but I know they fucking fat. Big bitch.
Maybe that black woman would have spoke to you if you paid for her groceries. Instead of a hi, if you said hey, can I cover your groceries? I think you're a really beautiful woman.
Yeah, that was a beatbox. That would be great.
Yeah, you got the job. She avenged her lover's death with the only weapon she had. She was his tool until he met his fate by the deadly weapons. Another victim who paid for his crimes with the deadly weapons. Yeah, you got the job. She avenged her lover's death with the only weapon.
Any more memes? I guess that's it. Yo, what's good? Here, painting some hair this morning. I'm trying to do her hair and her shades at the same time, actually. What is this? What is that? Oh. All right, peace out, P. Instagram be hating so hard on anything I try to listen to, even if I listen to my own music. Yeah, they can't listen to that. So soften that up a little bit. Maybe more brown. All right, so who we got on the YouTube stream? Because my man P said he was out. We still got some people in here. That's what's up. I'll do something like that. Damn, I might have to pull my stick out. man, I want to listen to something, but like I say, Instagram, I already got a message. Oh, you're nearing your limit for music or audio, whatever. It's like, bro, not even listening to anything that's copywritten, just free videos on the internet, and they're like, oh, you can't listen to that. Amizu, good morning, sir. Up and at it. I got the Instagram live going. Oh man, yo, my man Chocolate. This dude done popped in and out real quick. Oh, bro, ain't nothing to apologize about. Ain't nothing to apologize about, man. Oh, bro, nah. Once again, ain't nothing to apologize about, man. Or you say, just the animation part, bro. That shit, that's very time consuming, dude. So, and you're racing against a deadline. I trust me, I get it. I get it. I say I've tried to animate something before, and that's just I did like 2 frames, 3 frames. I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, yeah, I'm good on that. No, thank you. So good on that. I really thought about going to school for art, like considered it twice, like hardcore, where I actually went and visit universities for it. And the first time was in Virginia, and I went to this school to check out their art program, and the art director is like, so what do you really want to do? I said, I want to like major in fine art. She's like, you're not gonna make money doing that, bro. She's like, if you want an art degree, you got to get some fucking, got to do digital animation. She's like, right now, that's where the money is at. If you want a decent job, you can land you a spot at Disney or Pixar or one of these companies like that doing art for them. She's like, other than that, you're not gonna make a lot of money with an art degree. And that was 2011 or something. She was already saying that. I wish I would have focused more on digital art way earlier, just to have a better grasp and understanding of animation. She told me straight up, she was like, that ain't what you want to do. Nah, and it looks, yo, what you made looks good, man. Like I say, when the guy is falling, like the fluttering of the hair and the clothes, that shit looks good as shit. I was like, damn. Very impressive. Very impressive, bro. Where's the brush I'm looking for? Oh my god. Where's this brush? Well, hello. Good morning. I think that was yo, it was good, bro. Yeah, so the young ladies in the picture, they follow my Instagram. I don't think they follow my YouTube. So I told them like while I'm working on this piece, I will try to stream on Instagram a little bit. Just in case they want to, see like the actual process of it. My homeboy just agreed to lunch at 1:30, so that's something to do today. I'm trying to get these braids right here. Well, they're not braids, they're twists. But trying to get a little contrast in here. I'm gonna be working on her hair. I'll zoom in for a minute. Uh-oh, hold on, I want to get it. So we're gonna be working in this area, right below the arm of her of her shades and see if we can get some contrast in these braids right here. This is the first detail layer. We're gonna try to like give some decent contrast, but I'll definitely come back with another layer of paint after this to really try to make these braids pop, twist, pop. Something like that. Probably more to the edge here. Gotta keep polishing that, bro. I say, all this new digital stuff, like the digital tools we have now to create art, they're, they're they definitely have like a learning curve to it, especially coming from just doing traditional art our entire lives, and now being able to draw on like a computer screen and then animate that shit, like it's badass technology. But yeah, most people don't just pick that shit right up. I know I didn't. And it got to the point where like I felt like I was forced to learn that shit because people kept asking me for logos and t-shirt ideas and stuff, and I'm like, if I do a logo for you and I just draw it on a piece of paper, you're still gonna have to get somebody to digitize that shit for you before you can start printing it. So you might as well just go to the person who can do all of that for you at one time. So I felt like I was missing a lot of business in that aspect. And then after like 4 or 5 times, I done turned people down for logos or tattoo ideas or book cover ideas. And it's like, you know what? I might as well just get a fucking iPad and get a fucking program and start learning this shit my damn self. And as you can see, I still don't do it a lot. I do it when I have to, which isn't good because when I do have to use it, I need a refresher on on everything. Like I need an immediate refresher because I don't use the tools that often. In the last logo project I had, me and the guy really couldn't nail down exactly I couldn't create exactly what he wanted. And I tried about 6 or 7 different designs. And then also, I think sometimes people don't know exactly what they want. They can see some shit in their mind, and then I say the way he worded it, I made it exactly how he worded it, how he explained it. And then he saw it, he was like, well, maybe if we do this instead of that. I'm like, bro, you should have thought about that in advance. And my logo fees are pretty cheap for the simple fact that that's not a thing I'm super proficient with. So when I do get a logo project, I try to give somebody the best price ever, especially if you think your business is going to be profitable and you just pay me for the one time logo fee for the low, low price. Mhm. Man, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. Use the same logo for 8 or 9 years. Nice. I did my homeboy's logo, and that was probably about, I don't know. He was one of the when I started letting people know I was doing it. He was one of the first people, so that had to be at least 4 years now. 4 years ago, maybe. Damn, I don't remember when I got the iPad, but he still uses the same logo now. So we're gonna go here. I think this might be a little too bright, actually. Knock it down a little bit. And then kind of like this. It's not too close to that, but see now somehow, okay, it kind of looks like it's braided closer to the root, and then they twist it the rest of the way down. Here, there. Alright. Painting hair, painting hair. Everywhere we painting hair. Hair on your head got what I say? Hair on your head, hair on your derriere. Hair on your armpits, I can smell it there. Painting hair, painting hair, painting hair everywhere. Painting painting hair, painting hair everywhere. Hair on your head, hair on your derriere, hair in your armpits. I can smell it there. Painting hair everywhere. Okay, it's Friday morning. Awesome. Um, so we'll do this. We'll work on this painting this morning and tomorrow morning. Excuse me. And then Sunday morning, I think I might try to hit that website a little bit more. Might try to hit that website a little bit more. I know that's right. And when they keep using it, well, this is the second time I've done a logo for my homie. Now, back in the day, it was I did a hand painted sign for him. He had a car wash, and he bought these two giant pieces of plyboard, and we took it in the backyard and primed it up real good, and then I hand painted Scott's car wash. So the panels were white and the letters were in red. And his shop was on Main Ave. And he had that place for about 3 years, maybe. But every time you drove down Main Ave, you see that big red letters. Scott's Car Wash. Yo, good morning. What's good, bro? And you're painting some hair. With some tiny brushes this morning, trying to get some details in there. All right. I'm trying to progress everything kind of evenly. So we got some details on these twists. So now I want to get some of this done so we can pull it down at the same time. So I'm going to block in another big chunk of this. I might just block all of that in black real quick. I know it's hard to see on camera. It probably doesn't look like the changes are significant, but they definitely are. Can I not? Well, that has a slight curve to it anyway, and it's gonna stop like here. So that's about right. So you'll be able to see her shades, like the arm, to about right there. Then it tucks into her hair. Okay. You're gonna add a little gray at the end of her shades. Yo, what up? What up? Hey, Lisa, how you doing this morning? Everybody still digesting yesterday's dinner? People gonna be moving slow today. Hope everybody's day is off to an awesome start. I know mine is. Anytime you see me in the studio, it's a good day. Especially when I can start my day this way. I say just wake up, get myself together, and then go right in the studio. Man, look, ain't nothing like it. I just gotta figure out a way to be able to do this shit every day. That's the ultimate goal. How can I do this every day? Old man Winter out there. He said, everybody, grab your sweaters and grab your jackets. It's that time of the year again. About to be December. That's when that shit really kick in. Grab your sweaters, grab your jackets. I am not ready. I'm never ready for winter. I ain't even gonna lie. And this year, I'm really not ready. Like I need a I need to replace most of my cold gear, like my super thick winter socks. I had some really nice Timberland like winter boot socks, but I've had them for years. I mean, and they've held up for a long time. I ain't gonna lie. So I can't even really complain. But like my winter socks are starting to get holes in the heels, and I got a couple of pair of like thermal wear, like the thermal pants and shirts that are starting to stretch out and get holes in them. But the winter gear I got, like I said, I've had most of my stuff well over 5 years. I haven't really bought thermal sets or winter socks or anything like that in a long time. I think this winter I will have to like replace some stuff. I appreciate it, Lisa. If we don't do it, ain't nobody else gonna do it. You know? That's why I brag on you and Jason all the time. I'm saying, gotta grind hard for what we want, you know? Some people have the luxury of being born with that silver spoon, and some of us don't. So you have to go get it, or you ain't. Goddamn. Because after a while, you realize ain't nobody gonna give it to you. Ain't nobody gonna give you shit. Where's that other brush? This one. Is that? I guess that's right. Have to lighten that up a little bit more later on. I'll show my reference photo here in a second. It's not too bad. Actually, I'll come back and add some more highlights on there. Well, good mornings. Uh-oh, what am I jammed on? What is, oh, all right. Focus down. But this is the reference photo. I took this on March the 10th. Had this picture for a while. But we are finally working on it. And it's looking good. I think that was a pretty good photo. All right, guys, it's time for a quick bathroom break. And I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Oh, okay. And more coffee. Okay. Now, I feel like that might be too long for the shade. Cut this off a little bit. Right. All right, that's a little better. So this and this. So I'm gonna crank it. Excuse me. Put some paint on it. I feel like I should do something, but I don't want to do it. I'm gonna soften this a little bit. And I just got another dirty brush. All right. That's better though. Now, if we look from here, is that even right? There's two braids right here, or two twists. I keep saying braids, but and become like that. And then my bad. I swear, there's nobody on Instagram. I'm about to turn this shit off so we can listen to something, some kind of background something. I want to finish that interview from Diary of a CEO. Started yesterday. The one tech guy talking about AI. And it's crazy how they say like the people at the center of this thing view it as, yeah, this could be like fucking extinction level event type shit. But if I don't do it, somebody else is gonna do it. So whether it's complete human annihilation, or whether it's a complete human utopia, either way, we're gonna still do this shit. Just like turning on the fucking that Hadron Collider. Instagram, we're out of here. There's nobody watching this shit. We tried. And they're like, oh, it might make a black hole. It might. Fuck you mean it might? Yeah, like we're not sure if it will or not. But don't do it. Oh no, we're gonna do it anyway. We're still gonna do it, but there is that. It was a very low percentage, like 6 or 8%, but still, it's not zero. The percentage is not zero that you would make a black hole that could swallow the Earth. And now the same thing with AI. And they're saying there's a 20% chance with this shit that it's like 20-80. 80 on the good side and 20 on the bad side. But 20% is still a pretty high chance, bro. That's like a a goddamn a minefield. It's a fucking minefield, bro. Okay, you know the minefield is there, and if you want, you can walk across the minefield. You just know, like, there's a 20% chance that shit you're gonna step on a fucking mine and it's gonna blow your fucking leg off. How much? It's only a 20% chance. Only 20%. You calculate you have 2 legs, the average stride of an adult male, the distance you have to walk, and the average number of landmines per sector. There's about a 20% chance you'll step on one. But there's an 80% chance that you won't. Now, given those statistics, are you still going to try to cross the minefield? Are you still going to attempt it? But what others are saying is, well, if we get prepared for it, it'll be better. It's like we're just not preparing for it. So if you know the minefield is there, and you don't hastily just run out and try to cross it, but first of all, you put on some explosive gear, some really heavy shrapnel protection armor. You actually look at the blueprints of the minefield before you attempt to cross, and you bring along with you some type of mine sniffer, and now you've greatly increased your chances of successfully crossing this minefield. But people aren't doing that. Everybody just want to I got to get to the other side before they do. So nobody wants to take the time and put the gear on and prepare before they actually attempt to cross this thing. And so the one thing that really stuck with me, what the guy said, was there's only a few companies that are really at the top of this AI push. And there's one main company that really kind of brought it to the mainstream, which is OpenAI. And their models kind of was the platform for everyone else's. And so the guy said, how can 9 people ultimately decide the fate of humanity? And that's all it is just these guys at the top of these corporations saying to their board members and to their fucking biggest investors, I think this should be our next move. And that next move goes for everybody. We're not privy to inside board information or, their latest research, how they plan on implementing it and distributing it to the public. I don't get none of that shit. God, I might have to lift this up in a minute. Get a little height to it so I can reach it better. I got a new game yesterday and I tried to stream it and it wouldn't let me stream my video game for some reason. But then, I don't know, I had to take a nap yesterday. I was playing a video game and just started falling to fucking sleep. Like, while I was trying to stream. Oh, let me get the fuck up out of here. But, like I said, it's a brand new game that just came out and it wasn't free. So I did pay for it, but it wasn't expensive either. So that's good. But so at the same time, like, when I buy games, I gotta play that shit. Spent my money for nothing. So I'm definitely gonna get. So yesterday, me and the homies, no, day before yesterday, me and the homies had a really good game session. But today, I probably do some solo gaming because now this game is multiplayer online, but I asked my homies to get it, and only one of them responded. He was like, I don't think I'm gonna get that shit. Oh, fuck it. Yeah, my homie say he want to go for lunch at 1:30. So I'm gonna definitely game a little bit before I leave the house. I don't think there's anything I need to do before I leave though. My laundry is done and I vacuumed yesterday. Took the trash out this morning. I'll probably go grocery shopping tomorrow. I'm trying to think. Is there anything around the house I need to do? And there isn't. You know why? Because I'm a responsible adult. Yo, Ark. He thought that's me with Ark Raiders. What? Nobody else don't want to play with you, bro? Hey man, send me a friend request on there. I'm about to play that. Hey, dude. As soon as I get out the studio, what we did, almost an hour and a half so far. I probably, well, I don't know if I'm gonna stop at her hair or not. I might just stop at if I can get her hair filled in, which isn't a lot more. Damn, I'll be cutting myself short because I don't have a lot more to do. But anyway, whenever I leave the studio, I'm turning the PlayStation on, dog, and I gotta get into the Ark Raiders. Definitely about that. Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, we can learn that shit together, dude. Trap House ENT is my PlayStation tag. Trap House is all capital letters, and ENT is all lowercase letters. Trap House ENT. We'll get it in. Let's see if I'm going for lunch for 1:30, I gotta leave here by 1. So it's already 8. So even if I wrap up around 9 o'clock, I'll still have a couple of hours of game time before I leave the house. So this is gonna curve more. I gotta curve it up more this way. Right? I think so. Like this. Hidden vision. I got you. I got you, bro. You do a art YouTube. I'll follow your YouTube channel. Everybody think I'm a painter. I'm really a gamer. I ain't gonna lie, yo. I was gaming since 7 years old with Nintendo. Long before I started painting. Long before I started painting, I've been gaming, and I still game now. Oh, Travis a painter, and I'll call myself a painter and an artist because I need to be professional. But deep down, nah, nigga. On the inside, nah, I'm a gamer, bro. Ooh. The N64 with the golden eye. Yo, they got a new James Bond game set to come out. And then I think somebody like updated GoldenEye for like, I think they did it on Steam or something. With like way better graphics or whatever. But you can't beat that era, man. The Sonic era. Like you say, that 64. Ooh. And Crash was like PlayStation's mascot for a while, you know? And Crash was damn near the spokesman for goddamn PlayStation. That me and the me and the homies were playing Killing Floor the other night, and we were talking about our first consoles. And then I mentioned like the PlayStation 1 was the first console I bought myself. And immediately the other homie, he was like, "You got Metal Gear Solid?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, that was the goddamn first game I got on my fucking PlayStation, boy." Then he started whistling the Metal Gear Solid theme song. I was like, okay, another fan. Cause that game, the two games that really like made the biggest impact on me as far as seeing what is possible in video games was Metal Gear Solid and Grand Theft Auto. like the story in Metal Gear Solid, the depth and the espionage, and like it was, I don't know, Metal Gear just was like, I think that was the first time I played a game that felt like I was playing a movie. Like it was so well written, and the cutscenes and the dialogue. It was like this shit is like a really good spy movie. I felt like I was playing a movie. And then when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out and it just gave you the freedom to just, they called it a what? A sandbox game. What the fuck is a sandbox? Go anywhere, do anything. What? Hijack a car, run to the gun store, get a gun, get on top of the building, start shooting rockets at people, run down, go grab a prostitute, find a hidden stash of cocaine. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then you ride around and listen to rap music. I was like, oh my God. This is amazing. Oh, appreciate it, bro. Yes, sir. Go do your thing, man. Hey, let's be productive. I'm trying to be productive in the first half of the day, so the second half of the day I can fuck off and do video games and other shit. So go get that shit out the way now. I'll let you later on. Appreciate you stopping through, man. Mm-mm. Let's be productive. The first part. As soon as you get up, go get some shit done. And so the rest of the day, people see you laying around being lazy, and they're gonna be like, "Look at this bum! Look at this bum!" And then you just know to yourself, like, "Motherfucker, I done did more in the first half of the day than you done did all fucking day." The early bird do what? Get the worm. Look at this bum. He don't never do shit. No, I just do shit before you wake up. All my shit be done. You just don't never see me do shit. What's the difference? Me not doing nothing and you not seeing me do nothing. That ain't the same. Me and Omizu, we live a full day every day. 20 ain't nothing but 24 hours in a day. We all get the same 24 hours. Now what you do with your set of hours, that's your business and that's on you. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to be productive for 19 out of the out of the 24 hours you are allotted for that day, then that's on you. Yeah. I can't make you get up and do stuff. Ain't no lie. Oh. Excuse me. All right. So So this one is gonna stop right almost at the bottom of her ear. So here, here, and probably one more like that. Then this one. Does something like this. Which is actually, no, hold on now, wait a minute. So the one that I'm seeing, it comes across here, is that one from the bottom of the thing. So this one should come all the way across. So why did I put all of this here? Shit. Okay, I did that wrong. I'm gonna I gotta take these off. Right? Because this one is actually the one that comes on top of those. This goes there, there, there. Okay. And then it kind of start to, like that shadow gets really deep right there, and then it kind of start to fade in. And there's some rim light on all of these coming down all the way to her shoulder. But this is gonna kind of like fade right over here, and all of this is gonna be in deep shadow. So I said this isn't too much more for me to knock out. I wanna see that little curve. I'm gonna straighten that out a little more and add some lumps or bumps or humps or hills or whatever, how each individual twist is. Damn, I still never put anything on the YouTubes. Back to the YouTubes. So damn, everybody's saying this thing, yo. So this is the first. This is literally so that's an advertisement, a Temu advertisement, and then the first suggestion is it's
Is that how much
no, go back. It's over. You have 2 years left to prepare. Plopsky, so he's another one of the old head like AI guys. So now, damn it, I'm gonna have to listen to this. So I did click on it to put it in my what you call it, library. But the other one,
and then China will still build it.
So
Slow that
this,
down for a second.
so this guy, so this is the conversation we was listening to yesterday, and he's basically saying the same thing. Where's the so Tristan Harris is saying we only have 2 years left. Plopsky is saying we only have 2 years left. Everybody is saying like, yo, the next 2 years, just be prepared in the next 2 years, especially for super big companies and corporations. They're not going to immediately fire all of their staff, but they are. I think the main thing is the hiring freeze is almost here, and this is going to affect the college age people. The hiring freeze is here. And so it's definitely going to affect Silicon Valley the hardest for all these young techies who wanted a job at Google, Apple, Microsoft, Dell, all these places. Like they don't need coders anymore. They don't need chip designers anymore. They don't need data analysis people anymore. They're not going to need a lot of new accountants. Like a lot of the white collar jobs are going to be on a major freeze. Once again, it's just like obvious incentives. Why would I pay somebody a salary of fucking $65,000-$70,000 a year on a low end when I just pay for a subscription to the fucking chat bot? You know, for even if it's $2,000 a year or whatever, it'll be less than fucking $70,000. What company's not going to do that? What company isn't going to opt to use an AI accountant? So now it's just like let's look at it like QuickBooks. Right? That's another career that's going to be gone, like motherfucking tax preparers. I mean, and tax preparation could be a little expensive sometimes, depending on who you go to. Because I've paid like over $200 with H&R Block or somebody one year did my taxes, and I didn't realize it was going to be that much, and I was like, "What the fuck?" No, I'm good. And so now you can just scan your tax papers, your yourself and do it with QuickBooks or there's another TurboTax. That's what I was thinking about. So with TurboTax, it gives the individual the ability to cut out the company, the corporation, and just do your taxes yourself through an online service. But there's still like you got to actually do the like the inputting of the numbers and all that stuff. Check and double check, make sure it's all good. And soon the AI is just going to do your taxes for you. We just give it access to all our accounts. And to keep track of all of our spending for the year and our taxes and everything else, like our property taxes throughout the year, our state taxes, and so at the end of the year they know exactly how much you should get back, and if you qualify for this deduction or that deduction because you're a homeowner, you pay taxes, or you bought a new car that's eco-friendly, and blah 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 blah, and they just do everything for you. With no worries, hassle free.
We all just said we should slow down or stop because the thing that we're building, the it, is this uncontrollable AI. The concern that China will build it, you just did a swap and believe they're going to build controllable AI. Establish that all the AIs that we're currently building are currently uncontrollable. So there's this weird contradiction our mind is living in. When we say they're going to keep building it, what the it that they would keep building is the same uncontrollable AI that we would build. So I don't see a way out of this without there being some kind of agreement or negotiation between the leading powers and countries to pause, slow down, set red lines for getting to a controllable AI. And by the way, the Chinese Communist Party, what do they care about more than anything else in the world?
Surviving.
Surviving and control.
Yeah.
Control as a means to survive.
Yeah.
So it's they don't want uncontrollable AI any more than we would. Unprecedented, as impossible as this might seem, done this before. In the 1980s, there was a different technology, chemical technology, called CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, and it was embedded in aerosols like hairsprays and deodorant and things like that. And there was this sort of corporate race where everyone was releasing these products and using it for refrigerants and using it for hairsprays, and it was creating this collective problem of the ozone hole in the atmosphere. And once there was scientific clarity that ozone hole would cause skin cancers, cataracts, and sort of screw up biological life on planet Earth, we had that scientific clarity and we created the Montreal Protocol. 195 countries signed on to that protocol. Countries then regulated their private companies inside those countries. We need to phase out that technology and phase in a different replacement that would not cause the ozone hole. And in the course of the last 20 years, we have basically completely reversed that problem. I think it'll completely reverse by 2050 or something like that. And that's an example where humanity can coordinate when we have clarity. Or the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. when there's the risk of existential destruction, when this film called The Day After came out and it showed people this is what would actually happen in a nuclear war. And once that was crystal clear to people, including in the Soviet Union where the film was aired in 1987 or 1989, that helped set the conditions for Reagan and Gorbachev to sign the first non-proliferation arms control talks. Once we had clarity about an outcome that we wanted to avoid. And I think the current problem is that we're not having an honest conversation in the public about which world we're heading to that is not in anyone's interest.
There's also just a bunch of cases through history where there was a threat, a collective threat, and despite the education, people didn't change, countries didn't change because the incentives were so high. So I think of global warming as being an example where for many decades since I was a kid, I remember watching my dad sitting me down and saying, listen, you've got to watch this Inconvenient Truth thing with Al Gore. And sitting on the sofa, I don't know, must have been less than 10 years old and hearing about the threat of global warming. But when you look at how countries like China responded to that, they just don't have the economic
Nano Banana Pro is now on Artlist. Get it right alongside all the top models with any.
They take about 30 minutes to reach their target. So do theirs, right?
Missile warning, this is Bill. Confidence is high. I repeat, confidence is high. Right, we've got 32 targets in track and 10 impacted points. Want to confirm, is this an exercise? Roger, copy. This is not an exercise.
Roger, Major Reiner, we have a massive attack against the U.S. nation at this time. ICBMs. Numerous ICBMs.
I thought it was going to be a documentary. The Day After is a movie, original full-length film. It's long too. It's 2 hours long. I might have to watch that. The Day After.
I think of global warming as being an example where for many decades since I was a kid, I remember watching my dad sitting me down and saying, listen, you've got to watch this Inconvenient Truth thing with Al Gore. And sitting on the sofa, I don't know, must have been less than 10 years old and hearing about the threat of global warming. But when you look at how countries like China responded to that, they just don't have the economic incentive to scale back production to the levels that would be needed to save the atmosphere.
The closer the technology that needs to be governed, the center of GDP and the center of the lifeblood of your economy, the harder it is to come to international negotiation and agreement. And oil and fossil fuels was kind of the pumping the heart of our economic superorganisms that are currently competing for power. And so coming to agreements on that is really, really hard. AI is even harder because AI pumps not just economic growth, but scientific, technological, and military advantages. And so it will be the hardest coordination challenge that we will ever face. But if we don't face it, if we don't make some kind of choice, end in tragedy. Not in a race just to have technological advantage, we're in a race for who can better govern that technology's impact on society. So for example, the United States beat China to social media technology. Guess stronger? Weaker. Most anxious and depressed generation of our lifetime. We have the least informed and most polarized generation. We have the worst critical thinking. We have the worst ability to concentrate and do things. That's because we did not govern the impact of that technology well. And the country that actually figures out how to govern it well, that actually wins in a kind of comprehensive sense.
But they have to make it first. They have to get to AGI first.
Well, or you don't. We could, instead of building these super intelligent gods in a box, right now China, as I understand it from Eric Schmidt and Selena Xu in the New York Times wrote a piece about how China is actually taking a very different approach to AI. And they're focused on narrow, practical applications of AI. So like, how do we just increase government services? How do we make education better? How do we embed DeepSeek in the WeChat app? How do we make robotics better and pump GDP. So like what China's doing with BYD and making the cheapest electric cars and outcompeting everybody else, that's narrowly applying AI to just pump manufacturing output. And if we realize that if we're, instead of competing to build a super intelligent, uncontrollable God in a box that we don't know how to control in the box, and we instead raced to create narrow AIs that were actually about making stronger educational outcomes, stronger agricultural output, stronger manufacturing output, we could live in a sustainable world, which by the way, wouldn't replace all the jobs faster than we know how to retrain people. Because when you race to AGI, you're racing to displace millions of workers. And we talk about UBI, but are we going to have a global fund for every single person of the 8 billion people on planet Earth in all countries to pay for their lifestyle after that wealth gets concentrated? And has a small group of people concentrated all the wealth in the economy and never consciously redistributed it to everybody else? When has that happened in history?
Never. Ever happened? Anyone ever just willingly redistribute the wealth?
Not that I'm aware of. One last thing, when Elon Musk says that the Optimus Prime robot is a $1 trillion market opportunity alone, what he means is own the global labor economy, meaning that people won't have labor jobs.
China wants to become the global leader in artificial intelligence by 2030. To achieve this goal, Beijing is deploying industrial policy tools across the full AI technology stack from chips to applications. And this expansion of AI industrial policy leads to two questions, which is what will they do with this power and who will get there first? This is an article I was reading earlier. But to your point about Elon and Tesla, they've changed their company's mission. It used to be about accelerating sustainable energy. And they changed it really last week when they did the shareholder announcement, which I watched the full thing of, to sustainable abundance. And it was, again, another moment where I messaged both everybody that works in the companies, but also my best friends. And I said, you've got to watch this shareholder announcement. I showed them the condensed version of it. Because not only was I shocked by these humanoid robots that were dancing on stage untethered, because their movements had become very human-like, and there was a bit of like uncanny valley watching these robots dance. But broadly, the bigger thing was Elon talking about there being up to 10 billion humanoid robots, and then talking about some of the applications. He said, maybe we won't need prisons because we could make a humanoid robot follow you and make sure you don't commit crime again. He said that in his incentive package, which he's just signed, which will grant him up to $1 trillion in remuneration, part of that incentive package incentivizes him to get, I think it's 1 million humanoid robots into civilization that can do everything a human can do, but do it better. He said the humanoid robots would be 10x better than the best surgeon on Earth. So we wouldn't even need surgeons doing operations. You wouldn't want a surgeon to do an operation. And so when I think about job loss in the context of everything we've described, Doug McMillon, the Walmart CEO, also said that their company employs 2.1 million people worldwide. So every single job we've got is going to change because of this sort of combination of humanoid robots, which people think are far away.
They're not that far away.
They just went on sale. Was it now? They're terrible, but they're doing it to train them in household situations. And Elon's now saying production will start very, very soon on humanoid robots in America. I don't know when I hear this, I'm going, okay, this thing's going to be smarter than me, and it's going to be able to, it's built to navigate through the environment, pick things up, lift things. You've got the physical part, you've got the intelligence part. Where do we go?
Well, I think people also say, okay, but 200 years ago, 150 years ago, everybody was a farmer, and now only 2% of people are farmers. Humans always find something new to do. We had the elevator man, and now we have automated elevators. We had bank tellers, now we have automated teller machines. So humans will always just find something else to do. Why is AI different than that?
It's intelligence.
Because it's general intelligence that means that rather than a technology that automates just bank tellers, this is automating all forms of human cognitive labor, meaning everything that a human mind can do. So who's going to retrain faster? You moving to that other kind of cognitive labor, or the AI that is trained on everything and can multiply itself by 100 million times, and it retraining how to do that other kind of labor?
In a world of humanoid robots where if Elon's right and he's got a track record of delivering, at least to some degree, and there are millions, tens of millions, or billions of humanoid robots, what do me and you do? Like, what is it that's human that is still valuable? Like, do you know what I'm saying? I mean, we can hug. I guess humanoid robots are going to be less good at hugging people.
I think everywhere where people value connection in a human relationship, those jobs will stay because what we value in that work is the human relationship, not the performance of the work. But that's not to justify that we should just race as fast as possible to disrupt 1 billion jobs without a transition plan where how are you going to put food on the table for your family?
These companies are competing geographically again. So if, I don't know, Walmart doesn't change its whole supply chain, its warehousing, its how it's doing its factory work, its farm work, its shop floors, staff work, then they're going to have less profits and a worse business and less opportunity to grow than the company in Europe that changes all of its back-end infrastructure to robots. So they're going to be a huge corporate disadvantage. So we have to.
What AI represents is the zenithification of that competitive logic. The logic of, if I don't do it, I'll lose to the other guy that will.
Is that true?
Leave.
Is that true for sort of companies in America?
Well, just as you said, if Walmart doesn't automate their workforce and their supply chains with robots, and all their competitors did, then Walmart would get obsoleted. If the military that doesn't create autonomous weapons doesn't want to because they think that's more ethical, but all the other militaries do get autonomous weapons, they're just going to lose.
Yeah.
If the student who's using ChatGPT to do their homework for them is going to fall behind by not doing that when all their other classmates are using ChatGPT to cheat, they're going to lose. But as we're racing to automate all of this, we're landing in a world where in the case of the students, they didn't learn anything. In the case of the military weapons, we end up in crazy Terminator-like war scenarios that no one actually wants. In the case of businesses, we end up disrupting billions of jobs and creating mass outrage and public riots in the streets because people don't have food on the table. And so much like climate change or these kind of collective action problems of the ozone hole, we're kind of creating a badness hole through the results of all these individual competitive actions that are supercharged by AI.
It's interesting because in all those examples you name, the people that are building those companies, whether it's the companies building the autonomous AI-powered war machinery, the first thing they'll say is, we currently have humans dying on the battlefield. If you let me build this autonomous drone or this autonomous robot that's going to go fight in this for adversary's land, no humans are going to die anymore. And I think this is a broader point about how this technology is framed, which is, I can guarantee you at least one positive outcome. So, and you can't guarantee me the downside. You can't.
But if that war escalates into, the reason that the Soviet Union and the United States have never directly fought each other is because the belief is it would escalate into World War III and nuclear escalation. If China and the US were ever to be in direct conflict, there's a concern that you would escalate into nuclear escalation. So it looks good in the short term, but then what happens when it cybernetically sort of everything gets chain reactioned into everybody escalating in ways that causes many more humans to die?
I think what I'm saying is the downside appears to be philosophical, whereas the upside appears to be real and measurable and tangible right now.
But how is it if the automated weapon gets fired to, again, a cascade of all these other automated responses, and then those automated responses get these other automated responses and these other automated responses, and then suddenly the automated war planners start moving the troops around, and suddenly you've created this sort of escalatory loss of control spiral.
Yeah.
And and then humans will be involved in that. And then if that escalates, you get nuclear weapons pointed at each other.
Do you think this again is a more philosophical domino effect argument? Whereas when they're building these technologies, these drones, they're saying with AI in them, they're saying, look, from day one, we won't have American lives lost.
But so it's a narrow boundary analysis on, whereas this machine, you could have put a human at risk. Now there's no human at risk because there's no human who's firing the weapon. It's a machine firing the weapon. That's a narrow boundary analysis without looking at the holistic effects on how it would actually happen. Just like,
which we're bad at.
Which is exactly what we have to get good at. AI is like a rite of passage. It's an initiatory experience, because if we run the old logic of having a narrow boundary analysis, this is going to replace these jobs that people didn't want to do. Sounds like a great plan. But creating mass joblessness without a transition plan, where a billion people won't be able to put food on the table. Forcing us to not make this mistake of this narrow analysis. What got us here is everybody racing for the narrow optimization for GDP at the cost of social mobility and mass sort of joblessness and people not being able to get a home. because we aggregated all the wealth in one place. It was optimizing for a narrow metric. What got us to the social media problems is everybody optimizing for a narrow metric of eyeballs at the expense of democracy and kids' mental health and addiction and loneliness and no one knowing, being able to know anything. And so AI is inviting us to step out of the previous narrow blind spots that we have come with and the previous competitive logic that's been narrowly defined that you can't keep running when it's supercharged by AI. So you could say, this is an optimistic take, is AI is inviting us to be the wisest version of ourselves. And there's no definition of wisdom in literally any wisdom tradition that does not involve some kind of restraint. You think about all the wisdom traditions. Do any of them say, go as fast as possible and think as narrowly as possible? Wisdom is having a more holistic picture, acting with restraint, fullness, and care. So AI is asking us to be that version of ourselves. We can choose not to be, and then we end up in a bad world. We can step into being what it's asking us to be. Recognize the collective consequences that we can't afford to not face. And I believe, as much as what we've talked about is really hard, that there is another path if we can be clear-eyed about the current one ending in a place that people don't want.
We will get into that path because I really want to get practical and specific about what. I think before we started recording, we talked about a scenario where we sit here maybe in 10 years' time and we say how we did manage to grab hold of the steering wheel and turn it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think through that as well. But just to close off on this piece about the impact on jobs, it does feel largely inevitable to me that there's going to be a huge amount of job loss. And it does feel highly inevitable to me because of the things going on with humanoid robots, with the advance towards AGI, that the biggest industries in the world won't be operated and run by humans. If we even take, you're at my house at the moment, so you walked past the car in the driveway. There's 2 electric cars in the driveway that drive themselves.
Yep.
I think the biggest employer in the world is driving. And I don't know if you've ever had the experience in a full self-driving car, but it's very hard to ever go back to driving again. And again, in the shareholder letter that was announced recently, he said within 1 or 2 months, there won't even be a steering wheel or pedals in the car, and I'll be able to text and work while I'm driving. We're not going to go back. I don't think we're going to go back.
On certain things, we have crossed certain thresholds, and we're going to automate those jobs and that work.
Do you think there will be immense job loss? Irrespective, you think there will be?
Absolutely. We already saw Eric Bernholsten and his group at Stanford did the recent study off payroll data, which is direct data from employers, that there's been a 13% job loss in AI-exposed jobs for young entry-level college workers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a college-level worker, you just graduated, and you're doing something in an AI-exposed area, there's already been a 13% job loss. And that data was probably from May, even though it got published in August. And having spoken to him recently, it looks like that trend is already continuing. And so we're already seeing this automate a lot of the jobs and a lot of the work. And either an AI company is going to, if you work in AI and you're one of the top AI scientists, then Mark Zuckerberg will give you $1 billion signing bonus, which is what he offered to one of the AI people. Or you won't have a job. And that wasn't quite right. Let me say that the way that I wanted to. I was just trying to make the point that. Yeah. I just want to say that for a moment. My goal here was not to sound like we're just admiring how catastrophic the problem is, because I just know how easy it is to fall into that trap.
Fuck me.
And what I really care about is people.
I just waste a whole cup of dinner. The whole thing.
So
God
we're
damn.
massively motivated to choose another path. Obviously, there's a bunch of AI. Some cats are out of the bag. Lions and super lions
Right there.
are yet to come.
I just waste all of that.
And
Son
there's
of a
always
bitch.
choice from where you are to which future you want to go to.
There are a few sports that I make time for, no matter where I am in the world, and one of them is, of course, football. The other is MMA, but watching that abroad usually requires a VPN. I spend so much time traveling. I've just spent the last 2.5 months traveling through Asia and Europe and now back here in the United States. And as I'm traveling, there are so many different shows that I want to watch on TV or on some streaming websites. So when I was traveling through Asia, I was in Kuala Lumpur one day, and the next day I was in Hong Kong, and the next day I was in Indonesia. All of those countries had a different streaming provider, a different broadcaster, And so in most of those countries, they had to rely on
way through.
ExpressVPN, who are sponsored with this podcast. Their tool is private and secure, and it's very, very simple how it works. When you're in that country and you want to watch a show that you love in the UK, all you do is you go on there and you click the button UK, and it means that you can gain access to content in the UK. If you're after a similar solution in your life and you've experienced that problem too, visit expressvpn.com/UAC to find out how you can access ExpressVPN for an extra 4 months at no cost. One of the big questions I've had on my mind, I think it's in part because I saw those humanoid robots, and I sent this to my friends, and we had a little discussion in WhatsApp, is in such a world, and I don't know whether you're interested in answering this, but what do we do? I was actually pulled up at the gym the other day with my girlfriend. We sat outside because we were watching the shareholder thing, but we didn't want to go in yet.
Yeah.
And then we had the conversation, which is, in a world of sustainable abundance, where the price of food and the price of manufacturing things, the price of my life generally drops, and instead of having a cleaner or a housekeeper, I have this robot that does all these things for me. What do I end up doing? Pursuing at this point, because you say that that the cat is out of the bag as it relates to job impact. It's really happening.
Well, there's certain kinds of AI for certain kinds of jobs, and we can choose still from here which way we want to go. Go on.
And I'm just wondering, in such a future where you think about even yourself and your family and your friends, what are you going to be spending your time doing in such a world of abundance? If there was 10 billion,
Well, the question is, are we going to get abundance, or are we going to get just jobs being automated? And then the question is still, who's going to pay for people's livelihoods? So the math, as I understand it, doesn't currently seem to work out where everyone can get a stipend to pay for their whole life and life quality that as they currently know it. And are a handful of Western or US-based AI companies going to consciously distribute that wealth to literally everyone, meaning including all the countries around the world whose entire economy was based on a job category that got eliminated? So for example, places like the Philippines, where a huge percent of the jobs are customer service jobs. If that got automated away.
All right, guys, we're out of here. I got to make it a quick exit because I got to go to the bathroom again. I sure appreciate you spending some time on this Friday morning in the studio with me, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace. We're out of here.